Yes.
Hey, what do you mean by a self paced course?
Well, the course material is available in the form of video lectures. And there are multiple practice problems that come along as well. So, you can access all of it anywhere, anytime. And they are available to you for lifetime.
No way!
Oh, yes, way. Don't delay and enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Hello, good evening everyone. We are about to start our today's interview experience webinar. Our today's guest is Mr. Ashish Singh, who is currently working as a machine learning engineer in US Tech Solutions. So, without any further delay, let's welcome our today's guest. Hi, Ashay.
Hi, Sia. So, hey everyone,
So,
as yeah, please go ahead.
no, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Are you asking something? So, yeah, I was asking like how you're doing given the current
Yeah,
situation.
I'm doing all good. What about you? How is lockdown life treating you?
Uh, I think it's more of been mundane. I thought like getting a full-time experience and would be all thrilling and all. I just spent, I think, 10 days in office and then lockdown kicked in. So it's been a little bit mundane, but yeah, like we're healthy and
Great.
fine. That's what counted that day.
Yeah, truly. These times, being healthy and fine is all that matters. So, I have given a little introduction about you. Before that, let me check with the audience if we both are audible. So,
Sure.
there are some highs. Hi, Santanu. Hi, Nick. So, if you're audible, just drop in a yes so that we know. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Ashish. So, going further, I have already introduced about you a little bit. So,
Okay.
it will be great if you can give a brief introduction about yourself.
Okay. So, hey everyone, my name is Ashay. I have been working in the machine learning field since my second year, and throughout my journey, I've worked at more than three companies for internships, and currently I'm working full time. Apart from the professional work, I've also been into the research. So, as of now, I've also worked on three research papers, one patent, and two books. And
Okay.
yeah, I guess that would be all for the professional side.
Okay, great. So, how did you get to know about the job opening in US Tech Solutions where you are currently working?
Okay, so I think it would be what you would call as building connections. So what happened was there was a training organized by like the Ion Trading had a competition in our college, and one of the board members who were like the jury at that time,
Okay,
he later on got to be the vice president in the US Tech. So we talked there after that, and when he informed us that there was a new AI division being formed at the company and they were building their own products. So we came to know about that. So you could say it was on a referral basis.
okay,
So I was just talking casually with him and he informed me. And that's how I got to know about the job.
okay, great. So, can you give a brief introduction about the company that you have been placed in?
Okay, so as mentioned earlier, currently I'm working at US Tech Solutions, which is mainly focused in the recruitment domain, or you could say customer service. And it is also
Okay,
ranked among the top two worldwide based on what you say, like the total returns in
ranks, okay,
money.
returns.
Yeah, sorry, I guess what you say stocks and prices, and as well as
Okay,
their offices throughout the world. So w- in the AI department, what we're doing is building an end-to-end recruitment system for both candidates as well as the recruiters. So what it would enable for the candidate is to be able to find the best suited jobs as per his
okay,
experience as well as the skills, and for the recruiters, obviously getting the best candidates from the group of applications.
okay, great. So, how many rounds were there in the interview, and how long did your interview process last?
Uh, I think there were total of three or maybe four rounds. So the first round was obviously the telephonic round where they
Okay,
asked about like what previous experience you had in the field, basically about the projects that you build and whether or not the tools they would be working on, you have familiarity with it. And the second round was after I think the first round was around the end of December 2019, and the second round was on 8th of January. So it was normal DSA round. So they
Okay.
gave us, I guess, two or three graph related questions, and then followed by it after 30 minutes. There were two or three of my friends too who had applied. So we were sitting there after 30 minutes. Each one of us got called for the resume based round, and at the same time our evaluation for the DSA was done. And so on the same day there were two rounds, and later on I guess around 15th or mid of January some date, there was an HR round about the behavioral and the general. So I guess in total there were four rounds.
Okay. So was the DSA round very difficult one, or like it was a okay one,
um
medium
so
level?
I Okay, so based on like my experience, I've also talked to some other people. So since we had already known, and like there was a telephonic round beforehand, so I guess for us, yet you also might be knowing, asking just two or three questions is not common. Like usually you would be asked much more than that. So I think since they were focused on building the ML team, the questions asked to us were not that difficult as they would have asked for a software engineer position. So it
Okay.
were, like you could say, they were pretty common ones, and I would rate them maybe medium or intermediate level, not hard ones.
Okay. Okay. So, like, how long did the interview process last? The dates you told, I think, around one
Uh,
week.
yeah, no, so first one was on the end of December, and
Okay.
the second one was 8th of January. So I guess in total it would be 20 or 21 days. So you could say 3 weeks in
Oh,
total.
okay. 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 Got
So
it.
there was a gap from
Okay.
telephonic, then the on company interviews.
Okay. Okay. So, can you just briefly describe all these interview rounds that you just mentioned?
Okay, so as mentioned in the first round was telephonic round, in which like we were asked what our previous projects and experiences were. And since it was a full-time role, so obviously if you have any related experience working for other companies, so that was all. I think it took around 15 or 20 minutes, somewhere around that. And then we moved on to the second round. So we were given with three DSA questions, and like we were sitting in a room, two or three different rooms. So we were given a question, and we weren't actually asked to code it. We were like given a piece of paper to write the
Okay.
algorithm, the pseudocode, which would be later on asked by the interviewer. And after the 30 minutes time has passed, so the resume round as well as the DSA evaluation round was done in parallel. So first of all, they asked like what solutions you got for the problem, and whether or not you can optimize it is the best solution or not. And after that, they asked for our resumes and like the projects experiences. They asked questions related to that. And finally, they told us that there would be a HR round later on, and there was just the basic questions like why do you like to work in this field, what are the strengths and
Okay.
weaknesses, and all those
Hmm.
general things. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
think most of the rounds were around half an hour to 40 minutes maybe, except the
Okay.
telephonic round, it was shorter.
Okay, so it's great to know that these were all these rounds and you still, were able to crack
Yeah.
them and you're here. So, yeah. So, to the viewers, I would say that we will be answering your queries. If you have any queries you wish to ask Ashay, so just drop in the comment section. We will surely check your queries and we'll try to answer as much as possible. So my next question to you is, when should one start preparing for their interview? Share your strategic plan.
Okay, so I guess the simple answer would obviously be as soon as you can start, since like in today's world, like in our time till our first year, second year, the geo and all didn't happen, so very less we used books for studying and all. But in today's world, since you can find most of the materials online, so starting earlier can obviously give you a boost, and it in a way enables you to, what you say, amend some of your mistakes. So say for example you are learning something but you don't get it, you would have some extra time. So even if you've got some concepts wrong at the start, you can amend them. So in general, I would say if you are in say first year of your college, um, obviously you won't be spending as much time as in the later years. So try to learn different things. Say if you want to explore what is web development, learn about it a little. Maybe programming is obvious choice. A little bit about Android development. So you could obviously give them a try for a month or two and see if you like them. And later on in the second year, I would highly urge you to focus at most 80% to 90% of the time just on programming and getting the concepts of say oops and data structure and algorithms. And the same courses would be if you're in CS or IT fields, so same course would be also as a subject in your coursework, so it would also help. So in the till second year, if you are well versed in data structure and algorithms, so you are almost ready for the coding rounds. And in third year
Yeah.
onwards, what you can do is you can say invest 40% of your time to practice those concepts, because if you like just learn them and leave them aside, you would obviously forget them. Yeah, one more point for the solving of questions and practicing them is, if you learn a concept or any questions based on any algorithms, don't just try don't stop after you have got the question correct first time. Try as much as when you have established enough experience that you don't get it wrong like anytime soon. What it means is, say by whatever tries or hints you got the question correct first time, don't just sit like and be like I've got everything now, I don't need to study about this. But you should be in a stage that if anyone asks you the question, you don't need to spend a lot of time and you get the concepts. And from third year onwards, since you have already practiced all the algorithms and all, you can work towards your projects, because there would be a resume round. And how projects help you is, say if you are no, say if you build just your final year project, so obviously the recruitment manager or like the interviewer would ask you about the project, and then he would shift to MCQs or maybe some general viva questions related to the like the operating systems and other subjects as well as programming. So there is a little bit of chance that you might not know those questions, but if you work on a lot of projects and you have understanding, then obviously that saves some of the questions. And later on in fourth year, I would also say like try to get a PPO before starting off your placements. It really helps you relax your mind, and you can
Yes.
maybe try targeting better companies, since you won't be like fretting over all the rejections you get, and it really demotivates you.
So
So
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
would be that.
So you are saying that projects are really necessary to keep in mind as they
Yeah,
can actually help you a lot in standing out.
yeah. And one
Okay.
more thing, like you should try to like extend the plan as long as possible to get much more flexibility, because there might be many times of ups and downs. So try to start from first year and slowly by each year try to put in much more effort.
So you had a very interesting story of this as well as you
Yeah,
know about the PPO. Yeah. So if you can just share it with us.
sure. So the story goes, so the crux of the story is obviously I got actually when I started my first machine learning internship in the company, I already had a full-time job offer before it. So I got the
Oh,
offer in my fifth semester around April, and I started working like as an intern only in the company from the month of May. Sorry, in the month of June, like end of May,
okay.
first week of June. So what happened there was I was like I already had some connections obviously in the company. So there was one of our alumni who was working in the company, and I like called to him and tried to know what the projects they were building. It was in a startup actually in Gurgaon.
Okay.
So at that time he told me like they were working mainly on the computer vision field, and it was lucky for me because I also like the coursework and that I did in ML and all were mainly I was at the computer vision point. So it told me some of the things that they were looking on, and I tried to build a project that like wasn't as per the industry standards, but it was related somewhat to what their product they was trying to build. So what happened was I like got a testing kind of project that they wanted me to build to see whether or not I have the practical skills. And after building the project, I was working on research works in parallel.
Okay.
So they called me for an interview to see like how the project was and giving a demo of it. So during our talk, at the end of it, like before 10 minutes, they offered like if you are interested to working with us uh, full time also before your
Mhm.
studies, it would be really helpful. We like the project, and they asked me to visit them after 1 week's time. So I also prepared, and the best thing was at that time, since I guess data structure and algorithms, that was the only subject related to CS that was being taught to us. And later
Okay.
on, like the database and all subjects, they come in the sixth semester or later on. So I
Yes.
didn't have to even prepare the all those subjects that you might or might not hate. Like, see, nobody likes, there maybe only a few people who like all the subjects related to CS, the computer networks and all, because
Yes.
some of them are just pure cramming. So what that enabled me, what that enabled me was like from the very start, I was pretty sure from my third year that I would be going to the ML field and not in the software development of full stack. So getting a PP on my fifth year relaxed me a little bit, which was both a good as well as a bad thing that I didn't try it later on. But the good part of it was that I got time to improve my grades to a little bit, as I had around 71% till my sixth semester, and I worked hard to get like 82 and 89%. So that at least pushed my grades to a distinction, getting that
Oh,
honors degree, obviously.
great.
And I was also able to invest some time in research, which would later on prove beneficial for the field.
Truly.
So all in all, I would say it provided a, you could say, sense of security and like resistance towards the nervousness and all during the interviews.
Great. I think that's a really inspiring story, and literally it was nice to know that. We have some of the queries for you.
Okay.
Kevin is asking, which has
Which
brighter
is
future, React or
React
Flutter?
or Flutter. Uh, Personally, as I told you, like I've not worked on the web development side, so I
Mm-hmm.
might not be the right person to tell you. If you have any questions
Okay.
related to the ML field, I might be able to tell far better. Or if there's a general
Okay.
like placement or interview questions.
Okay. So Asif is asking, what are the skills required to become an ML engineer?
Okay, so that's a very general question. But see, you must be knowing the basic algorithms and all. And to get an entry level position, you don't need to know a lot of in-depth maths. But after going to a place, say if you know like the code for simple bubble sorting algorithm, and someone asks you that we need the data, we need some of amount of data to get sorted. So you can always apply that even if you don't know the logic. But if you are building something on top of it, you must be knowing those skills. So most of the people, they do learn the like the basic algorithms part of machine learning, but some of the skills that are missing are, obviously you should know some amount of deployment, like the cloud part as well as data scraping. So these are two of the things, like how to deploy a model, make a API, as well as how to collect data and clean it. These are two or three skills that can help you stand out and get better jobs.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ashay. My next question to you is that what to keep in mind while opting for internships and project ideas.
Okay, so I get, in my opinion, that is obviously a personal choice, but some of the things that you should keep in mind is don't just blindly apply for a different kind of internships. Say, even if you have a full stack knowledge and you want to work as a full stack engineer, so it might be better to try for specific opportunities. And what happens usually is in the cases where people are applying for 200 or 300 positions, what happens is they are not actually networking. So it would be far better, say for a company, if you're like if you see that their products are quite good and it's the work environment seems interesting, try reaching out to some of the people. If you feel intimidated, what I usually did is trying reaching out to the people who are most younger in the organization, since they might be of similar age group and we had better understanding. So using networking would be a far better tool. So in total, what I mean is try to actually know what kind of work you're going to be thrown at before selecting any internship or project ideas. And sorry, as for the project ideas, I would obviously say try to build something new, which if it is too difficult, try combining two or three projects. So simple example could be taking the example of machine learning, if you have, say, a model that can identify your face, so how you could use is, say, many of the PCs come with Windows Hello feature. So you can combine that with some sort of scripting code that can detect your face. So what would happen is, if the model detects your face, or any face is present in front of the PC, the system would be unlocked, and as soon as you move away from the PC, it would be logged. So it's a simple
Okay.
project, and the system part would take you at most 20 to 30 lines of code, but it is interesting and different from the remaining projects. So don't try to build the projects that have already been built. Try to bring some uniqueness to it, or try combining two or three of them together.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ashay. We have some another query by Yashu.
Okay.
He says,
Well,
what to do software engineer web development or Android development or something else, and what is the roadmap for that one to get placed instantly in college placement or off campus placement?
that's obviously data structure and algorithms. So what you should do is, say if you're confused between the two or three fields, as mentioned, you could, if you are in your first year, what you could do is you could try them out. You can easily spend a month's time and you will get to know the basics of all the fields. And later on, what you could do is, in your second year, please focus on your data structure and algorithms, because most of the jobs are for software engineers, or in almost 80% of the jobs, you would be placed based on your data structure and algorithm skills, unless it's, you could say, specialized jobs. Like in our case, if you are applying for machine learning engineer, mostly with some experience, you get asked easy questions, but then all you have to prepare like the other part of machine learning. So what I would say is, prepare data structure and algorithms, and by like be an pro at it, and later on in your third year, you can try building both of the projects. So even as a software engineer, you would be getting to work both on web and Android. And the best way, what I think, is, don't trust someone, or like don't just believe because I say that Android has this benefits on web. Try doing it for at least a month or two and see if you really like it or not. So being prepared, after being prepared your like data structure and algorithms, you can spend time exploring other fields.
Okay, I hope Yashu, your query has been resolved. We have another query from Aniket. He says, which internship other than Microsoft, Google, Apple, Facebook, Samsung, etc., are better and helpful for future placements?
I don't get the question exactly. I guess, what the question is actually, like, getting internship at, say, if you have internship at DShaw or Goldman Sachs or Adobe, obviously, if you have a placement at top named companies, or like the best or the top, maybe in any of the rankings, if they're well known, obviously the employer is going to be impressed by them. But say if you work at any of the companies, but at the end of the day, in your resume rounds and all, it comes down to your personal skills. So say even if you worked at Microsoft, but if you can't justify what you did over there, which is like not possible, if you got the internship, you might be very good at it. But if you can't answer the basic DSA and algorithms questions and can't get past that round, internships won't play that much. So they are like, if you are from a better place, you would be recognized and might be given little preference, but it comes down to your own knowledge and experience only. So
So probably internships are more about gaining knowledge and gaining some
yeah,
basic experience in the working environment
yeah,
that we usually don't come across as college students. So like
yeah,
any internship would do good to you. And if it is a good companies such as such big tech giants, so of course it adds extra to your
yeah,
resume, or it may add extra stars, but internships and all these things are mainly for knowledge. So this
yeah.
is what you sum up with, if I'm right.
Yeah, so yeah, and to add to it,
Okay.
what I meant was as getting an internship at Microsoft. So actually, the name also works, but it doesn't play that much importance, because people know if you got placed into Microsoft, you would have worked done and you would have certain level of skills. So actually, they're counting on those skills and they're sure going to test it. So
Okay.
like, be
So
prepared.
okay. So this is the last final query that we are addressing from Omkar Joshi. He says, "What do you suggest to be ML engineer who is at second year of engineering. What do you suggest to an ML
To a
engineer who is
person.
in second year of engineering? Yeah.
So I guess you might be start if you're a beginner. Obviously, I would say if you're like going for any of the courses, try to go for don't go for smaller courses where they teach you about the libraries. So don't try to take 5 or 6 courses for a single thing. If you can learn from the same person most of the concepts, it would be well and good. And as for machine learning specifically, I would say when I like similar to data structure and algorithms, after you learn basic searching and sorting, you jump on to solving the questions because you have gained the basic knowledge. Similar here. First of all, try to get the basic overview of what applications are, gain the knowledge of algorithms, how to apply them using the packages only. Try to build some projects and learn through them because you would be learning some things, but they won't actually apply to the practical data. So try building projects on them, and later on, if you find some like issues, you can obviously jump back to reading about them and all. So yeah, I would urge you to build more and more projects on them, and don't try to like learn 10 or 12 algorithms at first and then moving on to like practicing them. You would obviously forget them. And if possible, since you have a lot of time, try to implement the algorithms also from scratch. That would greatly like help you improve your knowledge.
Okay. Okay. Hope Omkar, your query has been answered. So this was my final query. Thank you, Ashay, for being here and sparing out your time to be live with us. It was pleasure having you on stream.
Happy to help. Bye.
Oh, okay. So with this, we sum up this webinar. We hope we were able to answer most of your queries. If not, then just keep up with us. Also, if you wish to schedule your interview experience webinar with us, the links have been mentioned below. So stay happy and get vaccinated as soon as possible. Um, Take care. Bye.